So I'm currently at VRS in Northampton, and behind me here I've got the RS6 that I've recently done a video on to show you that I just bought it as a bit of stock. Wind is blowing, my camera strap everywhere, sort that out. Yeah, I bought it as a bit of stock, took it in part exchange against the Audi SQ7, and straight after that video I dropped it to VRS to get all the prep work done. It had an issue with the gearbox, I think. It had quite a lot of little annoying issues, and it gives you an insight of what it's like to get a car to a retail standard ready to sell at dealerships. So in today's video we're going to go through all of the issues that the car had and talk about the solutions to all of these issues and possibly the cost, yeah, because that's important as well. Let's get on with the video. Alright, let's go find Will. Something noisy over there. What's that? RS3? Nice Porsche K in there. See, that'll suit me. I want a sensible daily. Like, don't get me wrong, the RS6 would make a dream daily. Is it sensible? It's practical. Maybe sensible is the wrong use of words used for an RS6. Practical, yeah, that's definitely what it is. But yeah, nice little diesel Porsche, that would suit me. That's a lovely car. Let me know your thoughts on that as a sensible daily in the comments below. RS3, I know the whole world just seems to love RS3s. There's Julian, look. There we go, thumbs up from Julian. Lots of cool cars here. RS4, if you bought one of them today and stuck it in the garage, you listen to that. Yeah, you wouldn't go wrong sticking one of them in the garage today. It's even got the wingback seats. Look at that sunroof. Cal spec. Is it open? No, it's closed. Locked. 6-speed manual. They're all manual. Nice little M3 comp there. Look. Team VRS. A hashtag on it all the time. And a TT. I don't know if that's a Mickey Mouse badge, but it's got a VRS performance badge on the back as well. Look at that. So let's go find Will and see what he's saying about the RS6. There's Will's Cozzy there, going off to the classic car show this weekend. There's a dog. Bronson, hello mate. Yeah, that's as close as I'll ever get to that dog. I'm not a fan. Will, where's Will? Is Will down here? RS6. Oh, he's hiding. He's hiding from Calvin probably.
Just swinging my kettlebell.
On the gym, yeah. Hold on, that's not my engine mount, is it?
That's the end. It should be one piece. This is a two-piece one.
Oh, sorry.
It's not meant to be. So basically, you rang me and was like, got this RS6, needs a service. I was like, no problem. But I was like, alright, okay. What's up? And he said, well, there's a funny like banging noise. So I was like, okay, fair enough, we'll have a look. You thought it was transmission related, which you were kind of right. Transmission. Yeah. Engine transmission mount related.
It was rocking, wasn't it? It was rocking, so I was letting off the throttle.
We have a video that we're going to send you. You're going to try and put it on this video so people can see, because we drove it with the bonnet up around the yard. Yeah. To see, because we were like, what? So basically, when you drove it along the yard, my yard here has got some holes in it where the tarmac's missing, which is getting repaired, by the way. But anyway, when you drove it in, you could feel like this knocking noise really bad. So we put the car on the ramp, and straight away the near side arm, the lower arm, the bushers were completely split. And that was the original arm on the car. The driver's side had a new one in 2021 because it had a 2021 stamp on it. So we were like, cool, it's just an arm, it's nice and cheap. Sound. Replaced the arm, drove it in the yard, that's fine. Went out and drove it on the road with Jason, one of the technicians, and he's just there, look. And then when you accelerate and decelerate, it was dum dum dum. It was like flipping heck. That's still doing it.
Keeping it PG, I like that.
So we came in the yard and was like, pop the bonnet, and Jason filmed as I was driving forward. The engine was going dunk like that, and it was lifting up in the bay. So what's happening is, so basically that is meant to be in there, and that was just separating. Obviously, it's when it's in there, it's easier to see. Yeah, but I was sitting right down in there, and it was dunking up like that on there. So because that bolts to the engine, and that goes in there. So that's completely separated. And that's an oil-filled mount as well, as you can see in there.
So that isn't. Wow.
You can hear it. So yeah. So that's an oil-filled mount, electronic. So they sort of go hard and soft, things like that. So that's basically scrap. That
hold on. So
600.
That's what I was going to ask. Because I think
so basically that's what it was doing. So that's how the engine was lifting.
So all that movement was causing.
But that's a lot of movement at the top. When you see it, it's like wow. So
yeah, the price for this part, Will,
cost 680 quid plus that.
and was that from TPS next door?
Yeah,
so
brand
it's
new.
a VW.
It's a brand new, genuine 2-year warranted VW part fitted on the car.
Okay.
Then we were like,
Let me just stop you there, because this video is ultimately about me preparing a car for retail standards. Yeah. So that RS6 comes to you and a few issues.
let's go back to the beginning. You rang me, said I've seen this car. You've done some work on it.
Yeah.
I said yeah. That's actually had all the fuel pumps done, the PCV, the turbo strainer, everything done. 2019, I think it was. Haven't seen it since then, but it looks like a tidy car, and he spent the money on it then, so he would have probably spent the money on it after. But I think he had a garage or did something, a body shop potentially himself. So he probably had a ramp or something like that. So from what I can remember. So obviously you got the car, had these little issues. We don't know whether or not he knew about this, do we? But
No.
he bought the car came here, we looked at it, serviced it, found obviously the arm, the mount, then the pads were completely gone, front and rear.
Yeah.
Well, I say completely gone. Pads were worn down to nearly nothing, so we replaced the pads.
Yeah.
Whilst doing the front pads, noticed the bleed nipples snapped on the outer, which so someone's obviously done a brake fluid change, snapped it, and thought, you know, someone else's problem, mine.
Yeah.
And then, when they changed the pads previously, they'd obviously bent the pad retaining pins and just bashed them back in or whatever. So then they were impossible to. So we had to remove the calipers, go to the machine shop, get the bleed nipple machined, pulled out, brand new one in. So it's not been helicoiled or anything. It's just been machined down the middle and then pulled out. So it's not damaged the caliper. It's been done properly by a machine shop, which is great.
Yeah.
Because the calipers are expensive. Then we've had the pins drilled out because they have a shoulder on them. If you just try and drill it straight through, you take the shoulder out and then the pad pin won't stay in. Okay. So you've got to have it done. Well, I know this because I made this mistake once.
Ah, so that's good.
And I had to buy a caliper.
Mistakes are valuable lessons.
This is how you learn. I was like,
done me a favour there, by the sounds of it.
well, not me a favour, but it was on one of my own cars. To be fair, back in the day, I had a set of on my Golf R. I had some. They were off an R8, basically the 8-pot fronts, and they had the same, the pins sticking sometimes. I tried drilling it out and basically wrecked it, so I had to buy another one. But anyway, that's how I learned. So now we just take them off and give them to the machine shop, just in case. They can put them up static on a pillar drill, basically, drill through or machine through with a mill, so that it's absolutely bang on. So when all the little bits come out, it's just as it was and not butchered. So it's obviously had some pain in the past. But that they all have when people try and knock the pins out. But we've cleaned it up. It's all nice now.
Amazing.
So, new pads front, new pads rear. It's had. What else it had?
Service?
Yeah, it had the service. Didn't do the MOT. You're going to do that?
No, I'm going to do that. Yeah.
So that's cool. But it will go. Oh, tell you what else it had. So when I'll send you a picture of this as well. Obviously, when we looked at it on the ramp, we're looking for a knocking noise. Somebody in the Wisdom that owned it was so tight that they decided they weren't going to buy an exhaust. So
the exhaust. What about this bit? Yeah, the exhaust.
Basically, we looked at the exhaust and it's just been cut and butchered everywhere down the car. Then the back boxes have been cut open and emptied and then welded back up with something that I don't know what they welded it up with, but they either had no gas in it or it was a stick welder or something. It's really bad.
Really?
Yeah. So but then it's got an SRM centre prop mount on it, which is like an upgrade. So it's kind of like just spent money on one thing and not on another. But you look around the rest of the car and it's really nice. So I don't know. Maybe his mate was an exhaust repair guy and he could do it cheaper than Miltech or whatever. So
it's not unheard of, is it?
So what we've done, I had a stock exhaust from the Cats backwards, which I've had here for ages, and we've just gifted it you basically.
How handy is that? Like,
yeah, well, I was just going to throw it in the bin. I was like, well, we might as well give it you.
Yeah.
So we've put it on. We've put 2 new centre clamps on it. So it's got the proper centre clamps, 2 new gaskets and nuts on the front, and then that's all basically.
That's amazing.
That's all done. So it has a decent exhaust, and it's all ready to go now. So
amazing. So
apart from the MOT.
Apart from the MOT,
because I forgot to do the MOT.
To be fair, Will's got a lot on his plate now. So.
no, I just because it went from a little knocking noise and an oil service to, and obviously it just longed everything out. Oh, the heater didn't work as well.
We had a water leak, didn't we? Did we have a water leak?
Yeah, so the heater didn't work. This is how bad it is. So the heater didn't work. So we looked at in the scuttle panel was a little heater pump. It's really common for that to fail, and then it doesn't circulate the water around the heater rad in the car, around the what's it called?
Thermostat.
No. What's it called?
Radiator.
No, the thing in the car that the heat blows through. What? Heater matrix. There we go.
Heater matrix.
So
The heater matrix.
the heater matrix wouldn't have had any water going around it, therefore it was cold. That's why the heater was not warm, basically. That's now got a new pump in it. That all now works and the heater is warm. One of the, it had like a fault in it for one of the landers or something, and what can happen with these is the water leaks out of the charge cooler, and it can give like false readings. So we'd removed the charge cooler and it was leaking into the V, so we've had to replace the charge cooler core as well.
Yeah.
That was another thing we've had to have done. So
Yeah.
it's had an extensive amount of work done.
I think what's interesting about this is, you know,
Phone ringing.
your phone's with me. Everyone just wants wheels, don't they?
No, they
Everyone wants wheels in their life. What is interesting about this is, like, as a used car dealer,
Yep.
this car's done, I think, 87,000 miles. It's just the reality of a car that's done 87,000. Like, I had a little look over it. It looked alright. I took it for a
You
drive.
couldn't have seen any of this.
Couldn't have seen none of it.
Pump, you don't know. Could be just been the display.
Yeah.
Coolant pump's inexpensive, to be fair, to repair on one of these.
Yeah.
The charge cooler, the core's 500 quid plus that. So that's what I would call expensive. If you'd have had to buy new calipers, there would have been a grand each. That would have been expensive, but we know a good machine shop. There's nothing wrong with doing what we've done, because we just removed the metal out that wasn't needed and then put new back in. So the caliper itself, the fixture is fine.
Yeah.
It's just the bits that were in it. Thanks, dog.
He's alright.
Yeah, and everyone just shut up.
He's allowed to make noise. He doesn't
Yeah, it doesn't matter.
get the gist, does he?
So then obviously you've got your brake pads, which is just normal stuff, and oil change, etc.
And so
you get your lower arm and then your engine mount as well.
I also had the wheels refurbed. RRT
Oh, did you?
done the wheels, yeah.
Oh, I thought they looked pretty mint.
They've all been done as well. So the total cost to do all of this, a rough idea, I'm guessing you ain't done
About 3,800 quid.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
So there you go. That's a
Roughly, yeah.
So the
And
profit,
that's what I've got to have a proper look at the bill anyway, but just to go through, and then that's not enough.
and that's with you helping us out, like with, you know, you do help us out.
That's theoretically it should be way more. I think you had to buy the exhaust, things like that. You know, this is retail. It would have been like a £6,000-7,000 bill, I suspect, if you were having that done retail, because of the amount of parts, and if you needed the calipers as well. You know, if you'd have gone to the main dealer, it would have been a 10 grand bill, 10, 11
So
grand bill.
it could have been a lot worse.
Correct.
Because we've got Mr. Wizard Wheel on the side.
Well, no, I mean, most people would have done what I've done. Like, I fitted a genuine. You can't get a non-genuine mount for these anyway. This specific one, and when you buy the mount, there's like a crash sensor thing on it as well, which you have to replace. And that's about another 100 and something quid. So it's not that simple when you do it.
Yeah.
To fit the mount is a nightmare. Do you know what I mean? So, but yeah.
Well, okay, cool. So I can now drive and do a little drive in it shortly.
Sorry. Oh, put that on silent.
The demand for wheels is immense. Yeah, I'm going to take it for a little drive. So obviously we're heading off now.
Yep.
We've got a video coming up from the Golf R, which we probably won't talk about right now because there's few stuff a bit to talk about there.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm going to take it for a drive. I'm looking forward to driving it because when I first drove it, the only thing, going back to when I test drove the car when I bought it, the only thing I noticed was that rocking on the gearbox.
Yeah.
So,
well, that's all fixed now.
cool, Will. So yeah, I'm going to go and drive and enjoy the RS6 for the first time properly ever. Thank you, mate. That's it. We are back in the driver's seat of the RS6. Before we can go for a drive in it, though, we need fuel. So luckily, where VRS is located, there's actually a Shell garage at the end of the road. So let's go and put some V-Power in.
I'll be 55, 60 there.
Cheers, man. Now for the dreaded immobiliser. It's got a ghost immobiliser and I actually can't remember the code. Something like... Oh, here we go. I got it. Poor guy behind me's been waiting. Right, we've got fuel. Let's now hit the road. RS6s are just absolute animals. Listen to that. Listen to that. Obviously we're on sensible roads, so we need to be driving sensible as well. We've got heating that works, which is really nice. A couple of things that we didn't mention as well, over and above everything else that we just had to do to this car, is the Maxim Design front splitter was cracked. I don't know if, for those that did see the last video, would have remembered that it was cracked, so we bought a new one. And the rear wiper had stopped working, so we had to put a rear wiper motor on as well, so the bill was actually a little bit more than we expected. So I wanted to do this video to give you an idea of, you know, the reality of being a car dealer. Sometimes things don't go to plan, and even when you're buying the car, I'm not going to tell you how much I paid for it, because, you know, it wouldn't be fair on the guy that sold it to me, but when I'm buying it, I actually made him a lower offer when I was buying it, and I wouldn't say he took offence to it. He didn't take offence to it. He was adamant with what he wanted, and I was like, you know what, fair enough, I'll buy it. And in hindsight, if I'd have known what I know today, I wouldn't have bought it. I am now going to lose money on this car, okay? So this whole effort, spending all this time, this money, having all this money tied up in this car, it's been a waste of time, and it's going to lose me money. So it ain't good for business. But as a car trader, or as any business, ultimately, you're in that game to earn money. But it does happen, right? I say it all the time, with trading, with whatever you're trading in, you're taking a risk with everything you buy. So it is now a nice bit of stock. And credit to VRS as well, we'll link them in the description below. Will does a great job. He goes to town on everything he does, and he does a really good job. I chose to take a punt on this car, and on this occasion it hasn't gone to plan. It's going to lose me money, but you know what, I'm okay with that. And if I was faced with this opportunity again, I'd do it all again. Yeah, it's an RS6, it's a proper nice car, and dangling a carrot in front of a person that absolutely loves cars, yeah, I would have fallen for it time and time again. So I'm gonna wrap it up and leave it as that. It's just a little update video. Oh, there's a Golf R there, 5-door, 7.5. I do love a Golf R. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you liked this video. If you did like this video, do me a favour, hit like, hit subscribe if you're new, and I think that's everything. I usually ask you to follow me on Instagram. You can if you want, at Calvin's Car Diary, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. So the good news is, since filming this video, the RS6 is now sold, but the bad news is, well, the customer has noticed more problems with the drivetrain. So we're currently working with the customer to try and get these problems resolved. Some of you watching this will probably think, bloody hell, that's annoying, Cal. It is annoying, but you know what? It's just part of being a used car dealer.